Hey folks, Crimson Blaze here. Welcome to another hammock camping video. This weekend I'm in Badlands National Park, about to set off on another backpacking adventure. But first, I thought I would show you my do-it-yourself hammock stand. And I thought this was a perfect place because sometimes when I go on a backpacking trip, I'll stay at a trailhead the night before if that's allowed. And if there aren't trees, I'll use my hammock stand. So I thought I would walk you through the different material that's needed, how easy it is to put together, how portable it is, and why I bring this along on some of my backpacking trips. The first thing I love about this hammock stand is that it is portable. It's easy to break down, it's only a few pieces, and it fits easily into the back of my truck. So now let's start putting it together. The first thing you're going to need to build is a tripod. You can see this one here has 3 legs. Each leg is a 2x2 piece of wood. It is 6.5 feet long. You'll also notice that I have drilled holes into the legs, and I have put this paracord in between and slid it through each of the holes. And what that does is create that firm foundation. Because if that paracord wasn't there, then those legs would just collapse straight down, and that would be no good. Another thing that you'll see here is that I have this hinge. It's a 5-inch hinge, and that will connect the 3 pieces of wood together. And I connected them by using these T-nuts and 5/16 bolts, I believe. So you can see I have 2 here, and then I bolted them on there, and then I have the bolts up here as well. So that's hinge is what's creating that, creating the connection up here, so it can pivot a little bit, which is important. And then I have an S-hook, which is going to help me create a piece where I can actually begin to hang my ridgeline, which we'll see in a minute. So obviously you want to do that twice. You're going to have another tripod built just the same. So that's 6 pieces of 2x2s that you're going to need that are 6.5 feet long. You're going to need 8 T-nuts and 8 5/16 bolts, as well as 1 5-inch hinge to create both of these tripods. And obviously you'll need a drill in order to drill holes, and then paracord to slide them in. And I'll put all this in the description below. What you need to do next is create your ridgeline, and that is done with this top fence railing. So at the time that I made this, which is about 6 or 7 years ago, this railing came in lengths of 10 feet. Well, I needed a ridge line longer than 10 feet, so I had to buy 2 of them and then cut them to distance, because I wanted my ridge line to be about 12 feet. And what you'll notice with this, this railing is that one of the ends is tapered. And so that's great, because when I cut my pieces, then I can just slide them together, and then that creates the ridge line for my hammock stand. So how I attach my ridge line to these tripods is I have this continuous loop. And for me, that was actually just an old cinch buckle that I had, because I wanted my railing to sit on this continuous loop, because that is the height that I measured out for my anchor point for a 12-foot length in a ridge line. And so I did that on both ends. Again, attached it to my S-hook, and then that creates the foundation for my railing. Now that I got my, just slide my railing to the top of each one. Just make sure it is evenly balanced. I want that continuous loop to hang straight down. because if it's not hanging straight down, and if it has too much weight, then it's going to pull it forward. So we're going to move this a little bit. Now it is important for this continuous loop to come straight down, because if it's swinging too much to the left or hanging over to the right, then that's going to cause the tripod to collapse because the weight is going to move it in one direction or another. So make sure your continuous loops are straight up and down. See, that one's off a little bit. I think that'll work. All right, let's go get the hammock. Just like any good old hammock, you need hammock straps. And so for this, I just use these daisy chains, which are super easy and give me some flexibility when I'm hanging my hammock. That's one. That's two. So this is important. What you'll notice here is I have a hole in the end of my fence railing that I put a carabiner through. And then I put my strap on that, and then I've got the carabiner for my hammock. Now that's important because you don't want to hang your hammock from your tripod, because anything that's bringing the force this way is going to cause it to collapse. The reason this works is because of my continuous loop, and all that weight is going straight down, right? So that's what's causing that to be a stable tripod. So now the force is coming straight down on that tripod. I put my hammock strap on that, and then my carabiner to set the height that I want it, the sit height that I want. And then that creates the tension on the fence railing so that it will stay together when you're laying in your hammock. All right, moment of truth. Yep, works out just great, see? Oh, this is a great hammock stand. I really do love it. And this is called a turtle dog hammock stand. If you go out on YouTube, you'll see videos that are 6. I saw one that was 12 years old. So there's a lot of people who used it. It's the one that I thought best fit my needs. So this is the one I chose. And I chose it for a few reasons. One, hammock stands are expensive, like several $100s. And I don't remember how much I paid for the wood and the hinge and the bolts, but I know it was nowhere near that. Plus, it's fun to kind of, create and make something on your own. So that was great. Two, it's portable. As you saw, it easily fits into the back of my truck. It's 4 different pieces, and it is fairly lightweight. I'm not going to go backpacking with it, obviously. But, it's easy enough to carry around, a campground and setup. So I really love that. Another thing I like is how, portable it is. Meaning, some of those hammock stands, like some cool ones that you see, they can attach to the hitch of your truck. Well, I didn't want to be locked in to the back of my truck. I wanted to be able to find different spots. Like right now, my truck is on the other side of that camera, and this is where I would want to set it up, right? I have this beautiful view of the Badlands, and I wanted to be able to set it up on this flat land. So I like that ability to move away from my truck and set it up where I want to. And it really has been a great hammock stand. I really do love it. I will say that it can be a bit tippy. So if you don't have those continuous loops hanging straight down on your ridgeline, if that force is not coming straight down, if it's off a little bit, in or out, it's going to collapse on you, right? But once your weight is on it, you know, once your weight is on it and it's centered correctly, it's not going to tip. It's never tipped on me in the middle of the night when I've slept on it. I would just say that you've got to be careful getting in and getting out, right? So when you're, you know, getting in, if the tripod legs aren't spread out, you know, completely and have a good foundation, and if your, you know, continuous loop and railing is off, if you're not paying attention to things, it will tip over, you know. But if you set up right, then it's going to be rock solid. You're not going to have any troubles with it at all. And I would say when you're getting out, don't use this, right? Because that's not meant for that. You can see that's really flimsy. And all that pressure is coming inward and creating that tension to hold my hammock. So you got to be careful getting out of the hammock as well. But other than that, this is great. Again, this is great for when you are wanting to camp somewhere at a trailhead, BLM land, there are no trees, but you still want to sleep in a hammock, you don't want to sleep in the back of your truck, or you don't want to sleep on the ground in a tent. This is what I use, and it has worked out fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for this video. That is the do-it-yourself Turtle Dog hammock stand, and I love it. But right now, I need to get started on my next backpacking adventure, so until then, keep on blazing.